Hello. Welcome to Apply to the Jet Program, vlog number 5. That was my somewhat Halloween-esque introduction because it is Halloween on Friday. Not really a big thing here in Japan, but you'll get asked to teach it. Even if you're, not from Canada or North America or America. um, and That's not the reason I'm wearing this hood, actually. Although this could be a good costume. It got really cold in Japan in the past few days, at least out here in Shimane, and I'm just too cheap to turn on my heat yet. So I've got my hoodie on, and yeah, it's cold. Um, okay, I'm just going to jump right into the application, which is where I left off from vlog number 4. The online American application, at least, but I think it's somewhat similar for the rest of you guys as well. And things we covered is personal data, academic stuff, your major, whether you wanted a driver's license or not, and the all important, where do you want to live question. That was all in number 4. So if you missed that, go watch that. So, just heading on down the list that's on the left-hand nav bar in the American online app. Let's see. The next one, I think it's number 16 or 17 on that list, is primary school. There's a small section and for the CIRs, but I haven't really had any of you comment or PM me and say that you want to be a CIR. It looks like most of you are applying to be ALTs, assistant language teachers. They ask you straight up, are you interested in teaching at elementary school? The thing I guess you should know about that is two things. One, in 2011, which will affect some of you if you come in 2009 and stay, um, uh, English has to start being taught at elementary school. Right now, it's somewhat optional, even though like 93% of schools in Japan do it on a limited basis. But it's going to become a required subject with a textbook, etc., for the 5th and 6th graders at elementary school. So I think the way the JET program is going, some ALTs will be hired and directly placed in elementary schools from their first year. That never used to happen. They used to only put 4th and 5th year ALTs in those positions because you'd had experience by that point, which I think is a good thing because the level of English in elementary schools is much, much, much lower just because the teachers there have never had to teach it before. But that's a whole subject for something else. Anyway, so are you interested in working with kids, basically? If you're put in a junior high school like me, you'll probably get a chance to. If you're put in a high school, it's very, very, very rare that you will ever go and be asked to teach in an elementary school. But like I said, some ALTs now will probably, in fact, there have already been a few ALTs hired in Shimane and put directly into all elementary schools. Like we have one girl named Lauren, or Laura. Oh, I'm sorry if she watches this. Anyway, she was hired and put down in a town a few hours south of me, and yeah, she's got 14 elementary schools. She doesn't go to junior high and she doesn't go to high school. She has 14 elementary schools. And right, from day one, that was her job. Anyway, so check that box. When I first applied, I had no desire to do elementary school, but after I got here and I started to do it, I actually kind of started to enjoy it. And so, you never know if it'll fit you or not. But if you just really don't want to do it, put no. The next thing is you can explain some things on the application. For instance, if there's a person that you want to be placed near. But this really only applies, say, if you're friends with someone, like, I don't know, really good friends, and you're both applying to JET, or you're married and you and your spouse are both applying to JET. It doesn't apply to all of you people that are PMing me about wanting to live with your fiance or a sibling or all these other weird, well, not weird, that's not the right word, all these other unique situations. Contact info couldn't be more straightforward, where you want your mail to go, where you want your email to be sent, etc. Higher education, again, pretty straightforward, where did you go to college, what did you get your degree in, all that kind of stuff. And, obviously you have to produce transcripts and do all that kind of stuff. If you're in your senior year, there's special procedures. If you're about to graduate, in next year. Okay, the two that I'm going to try and spend, I guess, the last kind of 3 minutes on here are international experience. Now, this includes if you've ever studied abroad, um, worked abroad. It even allows you to put down if you've just traveled abroad. So I think when I did it, I actually mentioned my parents were both born in England, but I was born in America, and my mom and dad, were green card aliens. But because every other relative in my family was in England as I grew up, I, spent a lot of time in England, family trips back to the motherland, I guess. And so I mentioned that, that I did spend a lot of time in Europe, um, growing up. And, if you have a similar situation, mention it. If you just went to, Cabo San Lucas for spring break one year, I don't know how much I would mention that. Let's see. There's also something called intercultural experience. And I had this too. This is if you've done something with a group or in your own country, but with a group of foreigners. So I had a week where some Japanese exchange students came to campus, and I was one of 3 or 4 student guides who kind of had to show them around. We went bowling, we went to the movies, we went to the local amusement park, etc. So I was kind of like the liaison or somebody that tried to show them a good time while they were on campus. So I put down that experience. If you have anything like that, um, there's room in there when you talk about your any kind of teaching experience you've had. This is a whole section. Um, they give you a lot of latitude in that section. Camp counselor. Have you had any kind of tutoring experience where you've tutored students or your peers? All this kind of stuff. Use all that to your advantage. That's the stuff you want to be able to put down if you have that experience. Last is long-term plans, and they only give you a couple sentences here. I want, I got my degree in American history. When I go back to America, I plan on becoming a teacher. I simply describe that, I'm doing JET to get classroom experience because when I go back to America, I want to be a high school history teacher in America, get my teaching credential. And so they kind of want to know if JET relates to your life in any way. So see what you can do there to make that kind of connection. Or just explain. You want to become a doctor or a lawyer or a forest ranger, and this is your one opportunity to go away and travel, etc. before you settle down into your American career. Okay, that's my time. I'll probably do one more vlog to wrap all this up, and we're on our way. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.